Hello everyone, I am George Antonatis. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, talk about something that's kind of been on my mind. Started out this morning, always do your best. Always do your best. And that came up when on Wednesdays I train with my trainer and I was explaining to him what was going on with me. And, in that conversation, he always says, just always do your best. And there's a book that I love from Don Miguel Ruiz called The Four Agreements. And that's one of the four agreements, to always do your best. So that's been kind of just, I've been meditating on that all day today. And, I feel really confident with myself today that I did do my best. Basically last night, I been having some trouble sleeping, and I took some sleep medicine, over the counter stuff. And when I woke up this morning, I was like all groggy and just kind of still feeling the effects from the sleep medicine. And I'm training, and I'm getting a little dizzy because I'm still feeling like kind of woozy, sleepy and whatnot. And I was just kind of sharing with him. I think it's important for me to be honest with myself, and to be able to communicate that with the right people. For me, it's important to let my trainer know. Usually he's asking me like, hey, he doesn't care how I'm doing. He's like, how's your protein intake, is usually what he's asking me. But he'll ask me, how you feeling, what's going on. And I shared with him that I've been having some trouble sleeping, and I'm feeling like this. And I think one of the things that came up for me is that I used to be like 233 pounds. And there was one point I was almost 300 pounds. And so I think I guess it's a healthy fear of going back to that, because this exercise and diet that I'm doing, or nutrition, I prefer the word nutrition. It's a journey. It's a I got to continue. If I don't continue to exercise, if I don't continue to eat right, then I guess that's the fear that I'll go backwards. And so, that's what he mentioned to me, is to always do your best. And so, I definitely did that today. I worked out, and I was even getting like emotional. Maybe part of it is that I'm proud of myself for continuing to always do my best. And that always do your best can change, because before I got with my trainer, and before I lost the weight that I originally gained before, all I could do was about 20 minutes on the elliptical. That was like the best that I could do, and so that changed. So I allowed myself to go through that process, knowing, because one of my favorite sayings is, success is the small efforts repeated day in and day out. So in my mind, I'm like, you know what? And I had like an accountability person. Every time I would do my 20 minutes, I would send them like the green check mark emoji, like, hey, I did my 20 minutes, and it felt good. Like, hey, I did something, I'm doing something to better myself. And that's something that I try to do every day, is, do something that will better myself. And for me right now, it's even making this YouTube content. I want to be comfortable in front of the camera, to be able to speak, to express myself, and hopefully maybe even help someone else out in the process, And so, yeah, I was emotional today, but I think the important thing is to show up regardless. So some days I'm usually just kind of like what I would call cruise control, where I'm not so emotional and I just kind of go in and do my thing and whatnot. But really, I have a gratitude just to be able to wake up, to be alive, to have the energy to work out, and to be working on eating healthy. I'm really grateful for that. And so, again, it's just important for me to be honest with myself, and then honest with the important people that I need to be honest with. It's going to help me, because if I'm not being honest with my trainer, then he really can't, tweak things out or say things, or, change my workout routine. Like if, when I've had pain, like I've had a dislocated clavicle. Right now I have a tendon issue with my bicep. And so I let him know these things. So if I have a shoulder problem, for example, we do some adjustments on my training, so that I can continue to train and not cause more injury to any particular part of my body, to strengthen it. Because the whole idea of working out is to get better, not to injure myself or create more injury on top of the injuries, if you will. And so another thing for me, it's that it's important to have a positive spin as I'm being honest with myself of where I'm at. Like, I said, I'm emotional today, or maybe I'm not feeling so good. But I always want to spin it in a positive direction. So it's kind of like radical acceptance, which I learned that one from my sister. My sister told me about that one. She's like, radical acceptance is kind of like accepting where I'm at with kind of like the desire to change where I'm at, allowing me to accept that maybe I'm not feeling so great. But then, positive spin. Okay, so if I'm not feeling, another saying I've heard is, it's okay not to be okay. So sometimes maybe I don't feel like okay, like everything's cool. And to put a positive spin on that, it's like, okay, I'm not cool right now, but I know it's going to pass, or it's temporary. This too shall pass is another great saying, so always ending it with, for me, it's like I may experience something that doesn't feel so good or comfortable, but I'm grateful for that. Like the first video I made, I said I was grateful for the pain, so having that attitude of gratitude and just, again, putting a positive spin on, maybe sometimes fear comes up. These are emotions that I really didn't know how to handle before, or I would let them, if fear would come up, it was like in the driver's seat before, it was running the show, and I would feed the fear and I'd be more fearful, and, and then my body's having a reaction and I'm like, why am I having a panic attack? Like, well, did you work on your breath work? Did you maybe share with someone that I can trust? And, so I have tools to deal with this. And again, it's important to have a positive spin on maybe situations or just where I'm at. If I'm not feeling so good, have a positive, very important to have a positive spin. And I guess before I end the video, I'll just read a little bit from the 4 agreements to always do your best. And it says, there's just one more agreement. It's talking about the always do your best, but it's the one that allows the other 3 to become deeply ingrained habits. The 4th agreement is about the action of the first 3. Always do your best. Under any circumstance, always do your best, no more and no less. But keep in mind that your best is never going to be the same from one moment to the next. Everything is alive and changing all the time. So your best will sometimes be high quality, and other times it will not be as good. When you wake up refreshed and energized in the morning, your best will be better than when you're tired at night. Your best will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick, or sober, or as opposed to drunk. Your best will depend on whether you're feeling wonderful and happy, or upset, angry, or jealous. And again, if I have any of those feelings, I want to put a positive spin on it said upset, angry, or jealous. Like, they sometimes come up for me, but what do? I don't feed that. I don't want that, so I allow myself to feel it. I try to not attach myself to that. Like, let's say I'm upset, justified or not, because if I'm upset, the one that I'm hurting is me the most, and I don't want to hurt myself. So I allow myself to feel that, but then put a positive spin or shift it, change it. I got to change that direction. Again, gratitude is one way to do so. And then remembering that if I'm upset, I'm hurting me. And do I want to hurt me? No, I don't. So that's what I got for today. And I hope that you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like, subscribe, and come back for more. So thanks for watching. And if nobody told you today, I love you. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful night. Wonderful life. Take care.